Okay, so we're gonna make two pinch pots that we're gonna join together, and I'm gonna show you how that works. I have a small chunk of clay. They were equal sizes. I put it into a little ball. It started off about this size. So I'll just hold it in my hand so you can kind of see the size. It might be like, yeah, about an inch or so in height and half an inch in width, and then about an inch and a half in length across. So that's the size. It's very small-ish, like it'll fit in your palm. When I'm not using it, I'm covering it up in some damp paper towel. I'm just using regular things from home. I'm using a cutting board as my board. I've got a fork to score, and I'm going to use a spoon to shape it once I've got it joined together. So yeah, I just wanted to show you what I've got going on here. So this is a decent size little pinch pot. If you look at it in my hand there, and if you think about two being put together, you'll see how they go. So if this is going to be too big, keep that in mind as you're working and with the size that you're choosing. So we're just going to go here. You know how to do a pinch pot. We've done them together in class, but you're going to push your thumb down the center, and you're going to turn and you're going to squeeze it. Now, the amount of thickness you want is about your finger. So it's a good idea to pinch and figure that out ahead of time. You don't really want to go thicker with these salt and pepper shakers, because otherwise they're going to be heavy. They're going to kind of be a pain in the butt. And as you do it, you're turning and you're pinching, and you want it to stay straight up and down, more like a tulip. You don't want it to open up too much. And we're going to join these two together. So you want to make sure that the openings are the same width. So the easiest way to do that is just to keep it straight up and down. I'll turn it sideways so you can see it. As you pinch, straight up and down. And then if you need to pinch into the bottom, into the palm, then you can. So you want the same thickness all the way around. That looks pretty good. We're going to see if they match up. They should. They're about the same. So what I do before I join them is I drop it a little bit to flatten up the top, so you can see how the top has a nice flat appearance versus being a little bit more rounded. Do the same here, kind of just dropping it, and we're going to see if they match up, and that does match up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score it up with my fork. We want to create the suction to join these together, so score it. And I left my paintbrush over there, so I'm not going to worry about paintbrush. I'm just going to use my finger. I'm going to dab some water onto it. So we're going to score, water, score. We're only adding water to one of our surfaces, because if we put water on both, it'll get really soft and mushy. So score. I've got water in a little container here. Water, I'm just going to dab it on. Okay. And in case it's got smoothed off as I was putting the water on it, I'm just going to score it back up again. That creates kind of a slip. I'm going to put this together, figure it out, and I'm going to give it a bit of a wiggle. So that didn't work very well. Sorry, just a second. Let's try this again. Figure it out. Check it. Check that it's all lined up. Give it a bit of a wiggle. Press it firmly together. And then you're going to smooth it. You want anywhere where there's any air that can come out, we want to hold the air in. So we're going to press it together. We're going to get all that kind of slip and goopy bits out. So you gently squeeze it. This is what I talk about, the Dr. Pimple Popper stuff right here. You can see how it's oozing out. And I'm not pulling it straight across. I'm just going to the seam to ooze all of that stuff out. Okay. If this is lower here, then I'll push it from this side instead. So we're just smoothing it together, giving it a bit of a squeeze together here. And then once we've gone all the way around, then we can smooth it. So if you've taken art, you might know about hatching and cross hatching, shading with lines. And so you're kind of hatching and cross hatching. You're going in each direction. And if it's sticking to your fingers, don't put more water on it. That means it's pretty sticky already. I'm going to actually clean my fingers off a little bit. I'm going to dry them with some paper towel. So see how it's all joined together? I'm going to use the end of a spoon or the end of my fork, and I'm just going to kind of compress it the way I would if I had a wooden spoon in the classroom. Push it back together. We don't want any seam showing. So we're going to go all the way around. No seam showing, just smoothing it together. You can use the size, or you can the side, or you can use the tip. And now that you've got it all closed up, you've got some air in there and you'll be able to shape it. So we've used wooden spoons, or in the classes, in some of my classes, they're using wooden spoons to kind of shape it. We don't have wooden spoons, so you can use a regular spoon. It might stick a little bit at first, but if you just shape it, then you can start. And this can be a body that you could then attach things to. It could be a form that you begin with and then you shape it. It could stand up and down. It could be on its side, however works for you. And then as it starts to dry, the clay is going to shrink. And as the clay shrinks, like as it dries out and shrinks, that air is going to be stuck in there, and that air can't go anywhere. So if that air is stuck in there, but this is shrinking around it, you're going to have to create a small hole in it somewhere. You could do it where you're going to put the holes for the salt and the pepper to come out. You could do it where you're going to close it up at the end. This is kind of a little bit strange. If you get wrinkles like this, just smooth it over. Try to avoid adding extra water. My clay is very soft. I could actually even just roll it on my cutting board and shape it. And so you can do a whole bunch of stuff to play with the shape. Say you want it sitting like that, then you can have that kind of a shape. You can still move it around. If you see any cracks starting, just reinforce them with a little bit of pressure, or use your spoon to smooth it off. Okay, so if you leave this sitting out like this till next class, it is going to probably, well, it will definitely dry and it'll crack and break. So you can leave it off to the side and you can work on your other shape. Say you're making, I don't know what this could be, who knows, some kind of weird Mr. Potato Head thing, maybe. Potato person. They don't call them Mr. Potato Head anymore, apparently. So yeah, make a hat, do all that other stuff for it. I don't know what you want to make with it. Anyway, that is one way of building it. You can set it to the side and you can work on the other one. Now, to put your stuff away, my suggestion would be, if you're going to come back and work on it later, or you want to work on it the next day, you're good to go. If you are not coming back to it until class, it might be a good idea to let some of the air out of it. And then, so give it a little poke and then take a little bit of clay and close that hole up. So I just have a hair clip sitting here. So I'll use that. Poke a hole in it with the hair clip. Let some of the air out. And then you can close that back up by putting a little clay on it, like a bit of a stopper. The hair clip didn't go through there. And so that allows it to kind of relax a little bit. If you leave it and the clay's really soft and you leave it with that air hole in it and you put it away, when you come back, it might have flattened out. You can put some more clay in, more air in there, you can just blow into the hole. You can find some cool things online where potters have blown into pots and made them really more expansive. So anyway, that's how you do a pinch pot, put it together, and then you've got a shape that's hollow that you can turn into anything you want for your salt and pepper shaker. So that's one of them. I have this container here. It's one of these ones. And I would suggest that you wrap it in a little bit of damp paper towel and then maybe a layer of dry paper towel and put it in there with the lid on it. If you don't have sandwich bags, or your sandwich bag would work great as well.